If you have been following the history of Apple, you might be aware that they've had several rivals since its inception. In the 80s it was IBM, 90s was Microsoft, and in the 2000s it was Google. But the rivalry between Apple and Samsung is fairly recent and different. They are like Tom and Jerry who cause a lot of trouble to each other but cannot go without each other's support. In the 1980s, Samsung was mainly into the semiconductor business, and the best part was that their then CEO, Lee Byung, was a very close friend of Steve Jobs and often sought his counsel. According to a few reports, it was Steve Jobs who had encouraged Samsung to expand their semiconductor business. Over the years, Apple became Samsung's largest client, ordering parts worth billions of dollars. Well, now you might ask where that sweet old friendship of Apple and Samsung disappeared. Let's go a little deeper and see what exactly happened between them. Just before the first iPhone was announced, the then CEO of Samsung, Lee, visited Apple's headquarters and met Steve Jobs. Call it trust or stupidity, Steve Jobs revealed the design of iPhone to Lee, and he even dismantled the iPhone to make him understand the technology used in the iPhone. Well, you guessed right, Samsung did copy the idea of a touchscreen phone, and they released their own model called the Galaxy just 2 years after the launch of the iPhone. This rattled Steve Jobs. He asserted that Android was a stolen product and eventually called Samsung a copycat. This was the very moment that Apple shifted from being Samsung's ally to being their biggest enemy. And this caused the elongated legal battle which started back in 2011 and lasted for about 7 years. Since then, both companies have filed several lawsuits against each other on the lines of trademark infringements, infringement of design patents, and whatnot. To quote Steve Jobs, "I will spend my last dying breath if I need to, and I will spend every penny of Apple's $40 billion in the bank to right this wrong," Jobs said. "I'm going to destroy Android because it's a stolen product. I'm willing to go to a thermonuclear war on this." The funny part here is that due to the mutual cooperation between both the companies in the past, Apple even offered Samsung a way out of this in a form of an agreement, where Samsung would pay $40 for every tablet being sold and $30 for every Galaxy phone being sold. Samsung rejected this deal as they believed that their products were authentic. This actually turned out to be very beneficial for Apple for two main reasons. One being that Samsung lost the case and had to compensate Apple for an amount of $1 billion, and two, it helped Apple increase its customer base and gain a larger market share because the whole legal battle was proof that Apple was ready to protect its intellectual property at any cost. This made consumers believe in Apple's products and gave them a sense of security and authenticity. Consumers felt that their data would never be misused given Apple's integrity and passion. This is where things get really interesting. You might think that after the lawsuit, Samsung and Apple parted their ways and had nothing to do with each other, but it turned out to be the opposite. Most people know Samsung as a company that sells smartphones and electric appliances, but the strongest part of its business is the component segment which makes memory chips, semiconductors, and OLED displays. And that is not it. Stick around till the end of the video to know a very shocking fact about Samsung's business. In 2017, it even overtook Intel as the world's largest chip maker. Samsung produces 90% of the OLED displays in the world. Basically, it's a monopoly. And with the increase in demand for OLED displays from companies like Apple, Google, and OnePlus, Samsung grows too. In 2019, Samsung's IT and mobile communication segment, which primarily sells mobile devices and networking products, contributed to about $86 billion to their revenues, accounting for 43% of the company's total revenues of $203 billion. The rest came from selling component parts, which is approximately worth $117 billion. Now that is a huge amount. It even sells other important parts which constitute an iPhone. Do you think Samsung really copied Apple? Let us know in the comment section. Now you might have a question. With such a strong control over the parts used to make an iPhone, why doesn't Samsung discontinue its relationship with Apple given the trouble they've caused them? Or rather, why does Samsung even help Apple? To begin with, Samsung and Apple target a different market segment. The former runs on Android, whereas the latter runs on iOS. Both of them give their users a different ecosystem altogether. Technically speaking, Samsung's real competition is against companies like Huawei, Oppo, and Xiaomi, which run on Android. And also, once you've used the Mac or an iPhone or any other product that Apple produces and subscribe to their services, after investing so much money in them, it's quite rare that a consumer switches from Apple products to any other company. There is tremendous substitutability in the Android market. This means that a person using an Android phone made by one company is more likely to shift to another Android phone made by another company rather than shifting to iOS. In India, Apple has the largest share in the high-end market, and OnePlus had recently taken over the second place, which was previously held by Samsung. The introduction of the iPhone 11 and iPhone SE has proven to be a game changer for Apple. Both the companies have sold over 200 million phones in the year 2019, and according to a research done by Counterpoint, both Apple and Samsung own over 30% of the market share in the global mobile industry. So, the benefit of not selling the required parts to Apple are not as high as one would expect it to be, because companies like Huawei and Xiaomi pose a greater threat to Samsung than Apple does. Secondly, even when the cornerstone of Samsung's success is in its mobile communication segment, Samsung makes more money by selling components such as semiconductors and OLED displays to companies like Apple than it makes from selling its own phones. With Tim Cook's expertise in the supply chain, he has managed to make the supply chain one of the most efficient in the world. One of the ways in which Apple does this is by outsourcing most of the production to suppliers, mostly in Asia, who compete for their business. But in the case of OLED screens, Apple has no other choice but to turn to Samsung. Samsung is the only company in the world who can handle the demand for making high quality displays for Apple, and therefore Samsung gets to set the price. In contrast to the LCD displays which cost Apple about $45 per phone, the OLED displays used in the iPhone X and XS cost Apple about $110 to $120. And this is the sole reason behind the hefty price one has to pay in order to buy the iPhone X. Samsung's component division made more money off the iPhone X than the Galaxy S8. Apple wanted 100 million OLED displays in the year 2019. Being dependent on a single supplier is a big problem for a company like Apple. Apple needed a serious competitor to Samsung in the market in order to bring its OLED costs down. Therefore, it started investing billions of dollars in LG Display. But that did not seem to have worked out very well for them, which in turn led to a fall in the quality of the iPhones. Fun fact, even Google invested $880 million in LG Display in order to break Samsung's monopoly. Apple is even developing its own micro LED displays to cut Samsung out of the loop, but Samsung has much more experience in the display business and is also producing its own micro LED displays. Apple has also reportedly invested $330 million in a Taiwanese mini LED company. If Apple's first-party displays fail to match Samsung's quality, it could be a costly and humbling mistake. In 2019, Apple and Samsung announced a deal no one saw coming. The iPhone maker will begin offering iTunes movies and TV shows on its arch-rivals' television sets. And this turned out to be a great deal for Apple because Samsung TVs held a 33% market share in the smart TV segment. It also exposed non-Apple users to the company's products and potentially pushing them to Apple devices when it's time to upgrade. Samsung is a company we've all heard about but may know very little about. Fun fact, the world's tallest building, Burj Khalifa, was constructed by none other than Samsung. Recently, Samsung partnered with Microsoft to take on Apple through a series of new apps and features, such as OneDrive storage for photos and better syncing between the phone and computer devices. This makes the whole scenario quite confusing and keeps everyone in a dilemma about what exactly these companies are up to. On one hand, they act as each other's support system, while on the other, it seems as if they're trying to pull each other down. Do you think the feud between Apple and Samsung is actually over, or is there more to it? Their dependency on each other is quite vulnerable. But only time will tell whether or not the trend towards championship will continue or another conflict will result in making them each other's enemy yet again.